Steelers beating the Washington Commanders 28-27. Cass, as an Eagles fan on this podcast every Monday, everything Toddy out of Toddy's mouth says, who's winning the division? Who's on top of the division? Who's first in the division? Now that the Commanders have lost, the Eagles now hold firm grasp of number one place in the NFC East. What were your thoughts on seeing Russell Wilson with everything on his back being able to win against the hot Washington Commanders?
Well, I want to talk about the end of the game first. Winning by drawing them off sides. I said in my weekly predictions when it came to this game, I picked the Steelers to win. And I said the reason is going to be because it's going to come down to poise between the coach and the quarterback. At the end of the day, the quarterback and the coach that shows up and it shows the most poise will win this game because it's going to come down to the wire. And you saw exactly what happened. Russell Wilson comes out there as a veteran. Okay, does a hard count. And Mike Tomlin even said it in the post-game interview. He's like, yeah, we didn't even have a second play drawn up yet. Like we was relying all on that, and it worked out, which was awesome. But yeah, I mean that's how you win a game. I mean when it comes down to the wire like that, and you know you do got a young guy like Jaden Daniels who's really hot right now. The Commanders obviously are a really good team right now, and you know as being a Steelers fan, I mean, or if you're a Steelers fan, that you're gonna have to go through like Kansas City possibly in the playoffs. You still have Baltimore in your division. Like every win counts. So I'm just glad that it was an exciting game. It could have been the opposite. It could have been a very low scoring game like most of Pittsburgh's games, but I couldn't foresee Washington being this. I think they're second in the league in scoring behind Detroit. Not putting up over 20 points. And I also mentioned that as well. I said they're at least going to score 20. So I think my final prediction was like 21-20 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but nothing too crazy. And they actually both end up putting up like well into the 20s. So it was 26, what was it, 28, 27? Yeah. And again, came down a hard count. I just think that Pittsburgh, I mean, I think they're the better coach team. I think Washington depends a lot on Jaden Daniels to like, you know, just have a lot of magic moments for them to do what they do. And on top of that, they don't have like when they're putting teams away, they're not playing like the hardest teams. But we can't also discredit them because at the end of the day, it's like you're doing what you should be doing to not so good teams. You're scoring a lot of points. So that's kind of like my issue I have with the Eagles. You know, I'm not trying to talk too much about the Eagles, but like I want to see us put teams away when they're bad. I don't want to see us have close games and win. I want to see us like destroy teams when we have the team that we have. Washington, again, they have a good team and they turn around and they've done it all season long and they put up massive amounts of numbers on a lot of teams. This was another opportunity for Washington to come out there and, you know, prove to the rest of the league that this isn't a fluke. Jaden Daniels is obviously real, which he is real. And we can even beat the best of the best, whether it's in the NFC or in the AFC. And I think that this was an eye-opener for the Commanders. Let them know, like, yo, this is what a true playoff team looks like. And I hate to say it because I don't truly believe, like, wholeheartedly in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They obviously have a good defense. They have one of the best coaches of all time, for it to ask me. And, you know, Russell Wilson, maybe he's back, you know. I mean, I'm not really sure if we're going to see, you know, a 350-yard game, 3 touchdown performance out of no picks ever again. But at the same time, the guys, you know, he's hitting his guys downfield. He's taking chances. Got Mike Williams involved right away, you know, with the touchdown. Only one catch, but it was for a touchdown.
One catch and one touchdown.
It more than he's seen all season long. And then obviously George Pickens. I think George Pickens really likes Russell Wilson being there. I mean, I think that he I don't think he really minded Justin Fields because they're winning, but this is a different George Pickens. He seems like he's enjoying having Russ under center, and we can see why. I mean, the guys out there catching all these crazy catches week in, week out. Russell's the kind of guy who, you know, he's going to get you the ball. And again, just like I said, I'm glad I really predicted this. Like, I just think that between Tomlin and Russ, you know, a lot of experience there. You have a game like this comes down to the wire. As football fans, we know more often than not, like those kind of quarterbacks, they find ways to win games. They do. So not really surprised that they won. I'm just more so surprised that the score was as high as it was. So shout out to Washington for putting up a lot of points again. Not too crazy of a performance by either quarterback. I think that Russ had 195, 3 touchdowns and an int, which is good. And then Jaden went for no touchdowns, but no interceptions per usual, but 200 yards against a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So they had opportunities. they capitalized where they could have, and it came down to who had the last possession, and that was Pittsburgh, and they did what they needed to do to win the game.
Toddy, I know you were coming in really high on the Washington Commanders. Like I said, every week you let us know how good they are and what they are doing. So, what were your thoughts to see them lose a game like this?
I thought I picked the Steelers to win this game. I'm with Kaz. I kind of thought just the way that the Steelers have been playing, with the quarterback change and how activated George Pickens has been in this offense, and it's kind of opened up the run game for Najee Harris as well, and alongside of the defense that Pittsburgh year in year out is always going to have one of the best defenses with T.J. Watt commanding the front. On the front end, and just kind of making things happen on both sides of the ball. So I thought Jaden Daniels didn't really use his legs as we're used to seeing him in this game. And the better defense in the Steelers, you would have thought that he would have been able to kind of make more plays with his legs. I thought the Commanders got up, I think 10 at one point in time in this game, and the Steelers kind of had to fight back, and I just think it kind of just came down at the end. Russ leading his team down the field and being able to put his team up, and the defense being able to get a stop. And Kaz had already mentioned it kind of came down to literally. They got a guy to jump off sides, and coming down to it on fourth down, I'm pretty sure most people thought that, hey, where they were lined up, where they were positioned on the field, you knew that they were going to come out and just try to draw guys off sides and try to, make someone jump. I'm pretty sure a lot of, myself included, a lot of people across the world were like, hey, they're just probably just going to try and get them to jump. They're going to end up punting the ball. And I'm pretty sure Mike Tomlin, I think it was Kaz that said they didn't even have a play drawn up
which is crazy.
They didn't even have a play drawn up. They were just like, yeah, we're something that they saw something that they liked. They didn't really have anything. So for them to kind of, Russ is a guy that's known to get guys to jump off sides. Him and Aaron Rodgers are kind of in that same lane with that cadence to try and get guys to draw guys off sides. So, I think the Steelers are for real. I think they're one of those teams that none of us really talked about besides Cordell. He came on the show and pretty much just, he
stamped them, gave them the love they deserved.
He was like, yeah, we're going to go this, and that. We might have a chance to win the division. I said, you're crazy. But I mean, right now they're in prime position. I believe they play on Sunday Night Football. Is it Sunday Night Football? It might not be. Against the Ravens. So that's going to be an insane matchup. And I think that game's in Pittsburgh too. As for the Commanders, technically they are in second place right now, but they haven't played the
technically.
Yeah.
What do you mean technically?
Well,
they
are.
It's not technically. There's no mathematical question. It's the fact. They are.
Mathematically, they are behind the Eagles because they haven't played them yet. So we are going to see on Thursday when it comes down to it. It's going to be a very
praying on the downfall, man. Praying on the downfall.
Not praying on the downfall. I'm just saying.
It's all good, Taz. He's every week. Whatever team we're playing, he's ready for.
And I said in the beginning of the season when we were making our predictions, I said the Commanders were going to make the playoffs. You guys all scoffed at me. And I did say that the Commanders would come in second place and the Eagles would come in first place. Now, this was one of the games that I said you guys would lose in the division. This would be, you guys would end up splitting because this is the first game that you guys will play. Kevin doesn't think so, thinks he's going to sweep the division. I mean,
you're a wizard, Harry.
I mean, why not? You guys have been playing lights out. But I do think that the Commanders have shown that they are definitely a different team. This past game is nothing to scoff at. The losses that they have are against good teams. Like they lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Steelers. These are playoff teams that they're losing to. And I get it. They're a young team. They're led by a rookie quarterback, new head coach, new OC. Everything's brand new for this Commanders team. So they're just trying to, figure out ways how to win. And I think they're not getting blown out in these games. These are one-score games that they're losing by. And so, that shows a lot of promise going into Thursday night, which will be a Thursday night showdown. As Kevin likes to say, this is their Cinderella game.
I mean, look, if you are what your record says. You only beat 2 teams that are good. I mean, none of us think the Giants are any good. Cardinals, Bengals, Browns, Giants again. I mean, the Bears, they're awful. So every time they rub against some competition, unfortunately, they lose. So just my little short rundown. It comes down to execution. For that young guy to jump off sides and lose his team the game is heartbreaking. And all last week, all I heard was, Kevin, our secondary is like that. And George Pickens was out there just toying with him. He caught a bubble and had the ball out like this and was just stiff arming the dude for 4 yards. So